Alright, what's happening everybody? It's your boy Keenan. Welcome to today's vlog. I got a lot of previews to talk about for New Year's Eve's bowl matchups. I need to start with the first game to watch at 12 o'clock noon, the Car Care Bowl between Texas A&M and Northwestern. Both these teams had disappointing seasons, ending their years 6-6 and making it to this bowl game. Now I'm going to start with Northwestern. I had them as my Big Ten sleeper this year, especially with the return of quarterback Dan Purser, who I believe had a chance of winning the Big Ten Player of the Year this year because of what his play did last season. But he had to deal with a lot of setbacks with injuries this year, and that was pretty much the reason why he did not run the football as much as he did back in 2010. Also, their defense pretty much flopped this year, but I believe that they had a chance of winning that Big Ten championship with Purser coming back. Now, for Texas A&M, they are arguably the most disappointing team in college football. Many people, including myself, had them as the dark horse of the Big 12 championship, and I strongly believe that they had a chance of winning the Big 12 title with all the emergence of a lot of talent coming back this season, especially at quarterback Ryan Tannehill and Jeff Fuller, who a lot of people, including myself, had them as one of the top 5 wide receivers coming into 2012 NFL draft. He had a 1,000-yard season last season, but this year he barely had over 700 yards receiving this year, and he dropped a couple of passes, dropping his draft status for the next season's NFL draft. I had him as a second round selection in between those two rounds, according to last season, but at the end of this year I have him bumping back to the 4th or 5th rounds, but we will see. He still has time to boost up his stock for this season's NFL draft, for the 2012 NFL draft. But back to Texas A&M, they had to deal with a lot of setbacks as well, especially with injuries at the running back position with both Cyrus Gray and Christian Michael. But there was no excuse of why Texas A&M was 6-6 this season. I'm very disappointed in this team. They just could not live up to all the hype from what they had last season, ending their year 9-3. Now, pretty much the tail of the tape. The key for this game, Texas A&M basically needs to play all four quarters of the game and do not let any comebacks in the second half. And 4 of the 6 losses that they suffered this year, they had the lead at halftime intermission. But in that second half, they could not step up to the plate, and they pretty much collapsed going towards the end of the game, and that's why they lost those 4 key matchups of those 6 losses. Now, for Northwestern, they basically need to protect Dan Purser and have him have the ability to run the football. Going back to Texas A&M, they really need to keep Dan Purser as a one-dimensional quarterback and have them beat him with his arm and not allow him to run the football. Going back to Northwestern, protect Dan Purser. Also, they really need to a lot of help with pass coverage. Texas A&M's offensive line only allowed 8 sacks this season, and I think that the defensive lineman for Northwestern is going to struggle against a great offensive line of Texas A&M. So the secondary and the linebackers of Northwestern needs to step it up and have great pass coverage against Texas A&M. Now, with Jeff Fuller, Ryan Swoop, and Ryan Tannehill with so much athletic ability, a good decisive athletic advantage over Northwestern, I'm going to have to go with Texas A&M over Northwestern in this matchup because of all the talent that they have offensively, and plus Jeff Fuller needs to boost up his draft status for next season's NFL draft, and I really think starting with this game, he has a chance of getting his act together, catching a lot of passes, and being that big name receiver for Texas A&M. So I'm going to have to go with the Aggies over Northwestern, but I think it's going to be a close matchup in this Car Care Bowl. Now, I'm going to catch you guys all day today with more previews of today's key bowl matchups. Thank you for watching this vlog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.